Silent Yachts, the industry leaders in fully sustainable solar-powered catamarans. I figured it would be easy to start with the basics. Anything that I refer to in these videos as far as documents or schematics, things like that are available. You can email me. My email address is right below here, or contact me through YouTube. So let's get going with Silent Yachts 101. So let's start with the model range. Aside from the earlier models, the 64 and the 55, right now we have four main models. We have the 60, the 62 tri-deck, the 80, and the 80 tri-deck. So let's take a look at the 60s to start with. So the 60 and the 62 is essentially the same boat. The 62 has the tri-deck, 60 is the standard version. The tri-deck option is something that you would add to the 60 platform when you fill out the pricing and option spreadsheet, which is something that we'll take a look at in another video. So when you add that tri-deck option, whether it's enclosed or the open flybridge, we add 2 feet to the back of the boat onto the sugar scoops at the back to improve the buoyancy at the back and works with all the fluid dynamics of the boat. Now, you can also add that to the standard 60 package, just to confuse you a little bit more, because that extra 2 feet is necessary when you upgrade the drivetrain to the highest package, the ePower Plus that we offer. The other thing that happens when you select the tri-deck, aside from automatically getting that extension on the hull, is then the majority of the boat gets built out of carbon fiber in order to reduce the overall weight of the boat so that it doesn't impact the efficiencies of the overall platform. So roughly they're about the same between the tri-deck and the standard version. As far as layouts, you have a 4 stateroom layout or a 5 stateroom layout. The two main choices that you'll need to make for the 60 is whether you have the forward master or the front exit version. And I'll pop up some layout drawings and some pictures up on the screen here now. You should see them flashing up. The forward exit version for me works really well with the boat. It means you have complete access from the back of the boat all the way up to the bow, and you can exit out of the door on the bow. But you also get this really cool seating area up in that bow area. If you choose for, or if you go for the forward master, then all of that is encompassed into the master stateroom. So what on the forward exit version is the seating area that now becomes the actual cabin. So you don't get any of that seating area on the bow, except for a couple of sunbathing cushions that sit essentially on the roof of the master cabin. The 4 stateroom layout works really well. You have the master cabin on the starboard side at the bow, a great sized cabin on the port side, and then 2 aft cabins. It really works well with that size range. The upper deck on the tri-deck version, you can have either a fully open flybridge, you can have it as a second salon, or you can have it as an upper master suite for those of you that might want to live aboard and have a slightly larger suite. It's really nice upper level to have that see all out throughout the horizon. It's pretty spectacular views. Having said that, the master stateroom down in the lower cabin areas on the starboard side, you're right on the waterline. You have these big wide aspect portholes or hull side windows. That's a beautiful cabin, and having that place down there means that you free up all of the area up on the flybridge for guest purposes. It's a pretty prime piece of real estate to dedicate to a cabin, in my opinion. Your only likelihood is you're only going to be in the cabin when you sleep. So I think it works well as an open flybridge. Looking at the 80s, plenty of layout options for the 80. It's a much bigger platform, even though it's only 20 additional linear feet. The overall volume of the boat is considerably bigger than the 60. The 60 you can operate, or the 62 you can operate as sort of an owner operator. It's right about on that size range where you can handle it without a captain, as far as keeping the boat clean, maintaining it. The maintenance is very light on our boats anyway. However, the 80s, you will need a couple of crew. It's a big boat. It's too much to handle as far as running the boat and everything that goes into that to try and do as owner operators, in my opinion. The dimensions for the boats, the beam, I'm going to look down at my notes here, the beam of the 60, 29 feet 6 inches, the draft is right around 3.5 feet. The air height, for any of you guys looking to do any of the sort of northern passages or the Great Loop or any of that, we can get that down to somewhere in the 18-foot range. If you have the mast, the aluminium mast that goes up on top of the boat, that would bring the overall height to 20 feet. But without that mast, and on the standard 60 with the roof lowered, the highest part of the boat would be the satellite domes, and that being 18 foot, 1 inch there or thereabouts. For the 62 tri-deck, it's the same, roughly the same draft, it's the same beam. The 60 and the 62, if you were stood inside the salon of those two boats, they look identical. It's essentially the same boat. We call it 62, like I said earlier, because we add that 2 feet onto the back. However, the overall heights are more, because on the 62, you've opted for that full flybridge. So to the highest point of that, the air clearance brings it up close to 30 feet. I don't think that would be a concern for anyone with a 62 tri-deck, because if you had air height issues, then you're probably going to go for the standard 60 anyway. As far as the 80s are concerned, with the roof lowered, the retractable roof lowered on standard 80, that height comes down to just under 21 feet. It is almost 36 feet wide. And on the tri-deck version of the 80, that height, the air height, comes up to just over 24 feet, about 24 feet 3 inches. Same beam, the draft is just under 5 feet. These catamarans, great for getting in shallow areas because of that really nice low draft. So that's it. That's about all I had for today. Just wanted a quick snippet, give you an idea of the differences between those models. Quick recap, 60 and the 62, essentially the same boat. The tri-deck option is something you add on to the 60 platform. Again, if you stood inside both of those boats, they look basically identical. 80 tri-deck, clear differences there. Something to bear in mind, the tri-deck option, that roof is fixed. So if you have height restrictions in whatever you're looking for, then you need to look at the standard versions of both boats, where that hydraulic roof can lower and encapsulate that whole sort of upper deck area. It's great if you're looking for a boat to only use for part of the year, and the rest of the year it's going to be sort of locked up somewhere. It's a great security aspect. And also if you're doing big crossings, if you're looking to go traveling with the boat, then it sort of batten downs the hatches, so to speak, if you're in rough weather. So that's all from me. If you want any of the specifics that I was talking about today, email me. We have those in PDFs ready to go. Thanks.